Amazing revelation. Employee discovers her Japanese client is her long-lost father after 25 years. Jade stared in shock at the branding project laid out before her. It was just another day at the graphic design firm, but little did she know, this project would change everything. She had always dreamed of a better life for her precocious son. Max. Memories of her late mother flooded back, teaching her the value of hard work, while the chaos of life as a single mom lingered around her. Those sentiments never left her. They were her guides, like stars in a dark sky. Is this for real? She murmured to herself, squinting at Mr. Yamamoto's business card, which sat on her desk like an ominous omen. The name sent a shiver through her. He had an air about him, kind yet reserved, that tugged at her soul. As she collected her thoughts, the bustling life of the small Midwestern city outside her window seemed to just blur into the background. The soccer games at the park, the laughter from the weekly farmers market, it all felt distant and overshadowed by this unexpected encounter. Jade. Her boss called, snapping her back into focus. You've got to meet Mr. Yamamoto. The restaurant's branding scheme will be bold and fresh. As her heart raced, Jade walked into the meeting room. The moment she entered, the air buzzed with a strange familiarity. Mr. Yamamoto, with his gentle demeanor and slight bow, seemed like a ghost from her past. She pushed the thought away, focusing on the project her life depended on it. Yet, the more they talked, the more twists of fate tangled in her spirit. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With each passing day, memories of her late mother echoed in Jade's mind, tales of a man who vanished, a father she never knew but always longed for. Attached to her unease with unfulfilled expectations, a desire to unveil her family history ignited. She found herself lost in thought as they designed the logo over sweet tea and laughter. His smile sparked something deep within her, a mix of hope and pounding regret. Then one night, after long hours of work, as the sun dipped beneath the horizon, it happened. Jade discovered a photograph tucked away in Mr. Yamamoto's portfolio, a photo of a smiling couple standing beside a baby. Her heart raced, her breath caught in her throat. The woman looked just like her, the man was unmistakably familiar. Suddenly, every memory, every story from her childhood rushed back. Ms. Yamamoto, the warmth of those hands was pulling the pieces together, connecting dots she didn't even know existed. Mr. Yamamoto was not just her client, he was the unknown father she yearned to meet. Over the years, Jade had built walls, yet here she was, staring into the eyes of the man who shattered her childhood. Would she dare to confront him? A part of her craved to know him, to share the vibrant life she built for Max, while another part wanted to rage against the years of absence. The weight of a lifetime hung between them, heavy and expectant. As their eyes locked, could she embrace the man who broke her heart, or would she stay true to the lessons of strength her mother instilled? They stood at the threshold of confrontation with unspoken words quaking in the silence. Jade's heart pounded loudly in her chest, and the future felt like an open door, waiting to be stepped through. What would she choose to discover? Jade finally broke the silence, her voice trembling but resolute. Mr. Yamamoto, I need to ask you something. The words felt heavy in her mouth, like stones she had been carrying for too long. His gentle gaze shifted, and in that moment, she understood the depth of each other's solitude. Yes? He replied cautiously, his eyes searching hers as if they too were trying to piece together a puzzle. Taking a deep breath, Jade mustered the courage to pull from the fragments of her past. You have a son, don't you? A son named Max? It was a gamble, but instinct pulled her forward. She needed to know if the connection could indeed be real. Max? His brow furrowed, surprise flickering across his face for the briefest moment, then curiosity replaced it. That's an interesting name. What does he look like? Jade felt her walls start to tremble. He's 8, with curly hair and the brightest smile. He loves soccer. The way she spoke about Max sent warmth flooding through her, opening her heart just a little more, even as it tightened again at the thought of what her life could have been with Mr. Yamamoto in it. The gentleman before her visibly softened, and she could see a shadow of regret cross his face, a recognition that seemed to echo through time. I don't know what to say. His voice cracked, revealing the weight of years lost. None of us do, Jade whispered, her eyes stinging. I never knew you existed. I've only heard stories from my mother. But it's been a long time, and I have questions. A moment passed, thick with unspoken pain and lingering hope. Her heart raced as he stepped closer, affection and anguish battling in his expression. I didn't want it to be like this. I wish I could turn back time, but I never had a choice. Her chest tightened, caught between anger and compassion. Those words hung in the air, a mixture of sorrow, confusion, and the desperate longing she had felt all these years. What does Max know? He asked, his voice almost a whisper now. Nothing, Jade confessed, tears prickling at the corners of her eyes. I told him his father was gone, but she faltered, the truth too daunting to gather into full sentences. I think he deserves to know. But how do I explain who you are? The silence grew heavy again. It swirled around them like fog, obscuring certainty as their emotions clashed and mingled. I want to meet him, he said suddenly, desperation creeping into his tone. It's my fault. I know I've lost so much time already. Her heart felt strange, both fragile and electric. There was a flicker of warmth beneath her anger. Perhaps there was a chance for them to heal, to understand each other in a way that seemed impossible just moments ago. But could she trust him? Could she let Max get to know a man who had been absent from her life for so long? I can't promise you anything, she said, her voice steadier now. But we can try. Mr. Yamamoto nodded, a flicker of hope igniting his eyes. Trying is all I can ask for. As they exchanged tentative smiles, the world outside seemed to fade away. The conversations and laughter might have still been happening around them, but this moment felt sacred, raw and powerful. Yet beneath that warmth lingered countless questions. Could the scars of the past truly heal? And what would it mean for Max if he knew the truth about his lineage? Just then, the door creaked open, and their boss entered, interrupting the charged moment. Hey, what's the hold up? We're on a tight deadline here. The interruption pulled Jade back into reality, but her heart raced with a newfound determination. She needed to speak with Max about this, to unravel the truth she once feared. As she left the meeting room, a part of her felt torn. Should she dive into this journey, knowing it may turn her world upside down? A chill ran down her spine, mixing with warmth. Jade whispered to herself, it's time to take the leap. What revelations awaited her on the other side? Jade could barely focus on the rest of the day. Conversations buzzed around her like static, but her mind was preoccupied with Mr. Yamamoto's words. I want to meet him. Those words echoed in her heart, filling her with both warmth and dread. She glanced at her phone, wondering if she should reach out to Max. But what would she say? Hey, kiddo, guess what? You have a father who has been living a half a world away. The thought made her stomach churn. Hours passed, dragging along as she tried to concentrate on her work. The clatter of keyboards and the murmur of colleagues blending into a consistent hum. Eventually, she clocked out, the sunlight slipping lower in the sky. Jade stepped out into the cool air, inhaling deeply. She took a moment to gather her thoughts, and then decided to make her way to the park. Max would be at soccer practice, and she needed to see him just to feel that connection again. When she arrived, the field was alive with children running, their laughter ringing out like music. Jade's heart swelled as she spotted her son, bright and energetic. He dribbled the ball with confidence, throwing glances over his shoulder at his friends. Just watching him was enough to ignite the protective instinct deep within her. As she waved, Max's eyes lit up. He bounded over, his hair bouncing with every step. Mom! Look, I just scored 3 goals. He exclaimed, his voice bursting with joy. That's amazing, buddy. Jade couldn't help but smile. Just being near him transformed her feelings of uncertainty into something warm and hopeful. Are you proud of me? He asked, tilting his head adorably. Always, she replied. But her gaze faltered for a moment, and she could see the spark of curiosity in his eyes. After practice, they found a quiet spot under a tree, the afternoon sun casting a warm glow around them. Max sat cross-legged, drumming his fingers on the grass. Are we going to talk about Dad now? The mention of his father was enough to freeze Jade. She started slowly, weighing her words. Max, I need to tell you some things. About your dad, and what that means moving forward. His eyes widened. Is he coming back? Like for real this time? Jade's heart ached at the hope in his voice. It's complicated. There's a man I met, and his name is Mr. Yamamoto. He's your dad. Max blinked, uncertainty clouding his expression. But you said he was gone. I thought so too, but I found out something that's changing everything. Her voice trembled, she could feel the vulnerability of the moment. He wants to meet you, Max. He wants to know you. His mouth opened slightly as he processed her words. But why was he gone? Why did you say he wasn't coming back before? Those questions crashed into her like waves. Each one felt like a weight dragging her under. Because I didn't know this would happen. And truthfully, I was scared. Max frowned, his small brow furrowing. But you love him, right? Can we be a family? Jade's heart clenched. I don't know if it's that simple. But it's my only chance to have a dad. We could play soccer together. He could come to my games. The excitement in his voice was palpable, yet Jade felt the pangs of reality set in. I know, sweetie, but I need you to understand that this is a journey. There might be ups and downs, and I want you to be prepared. Max, slightly deflated, looked out at the field where the other kids were playing. I just want to know him. It's not fair that everyone else has a dad and I don't. Her chest tightened. His pain was palpable, and she wished more than anything to shield him from disappointment. I understand, honey. It's not fair. We'll take this step together. One day at a time. As they sat in silence, the sun began to dip below the horizon, bathing the park in golden light. It was beautiful, yet heavy with an uncertain future. When Jade finally spoke, it felt like unearthing a buried treasure. I want you to meet him, Max. I really think it could be good for both of you. His face lit up, a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Can we do it soon? Jade nodded, steeling herself for the leap into the unknown. Yes, soon. But, remember, just because we meet him doesn't mean everything will change overnight. Max nodded solemnly, then grinned. But I still want to try. Jade smiled back, feeling that familiar hope flicker in her chest. Maybe, just maybe, this would be the start of something beautiful. As they walked home hand in hand, a thought crossed her mind, chilling her to the bone. What if meeting Max changed everything in a way they weren't ready for? She glanced down at him, his excitement contagious yet bittersweet. Would they survive the truth together? And what if Mr. Yamamoto had more surprises waiting? Jade barely slept that night. The shadows in her room felt heavy, filled with unspoken fears and hopes. Her mind raced with a million possibilities. What would meeting Mr. Yamamoto be like? Would he even want Max? Would they form a connection? The questions wrapped around her like a tight blanket, suffocating yet familiar. Morning arrived too soon, the light streaming in as a reminder of the day ahead. She glanced at Max, still asleep, the little boy she'd raised mostly alone, a world of innocence etched onto his face. It made her heart swell but also tightened the knot of anxiety in her stomach. As he stirred awake, smiling up at her with his enthusiastic spirit, she felt the weight of the world settle back on her shoulders. Mom. Can we have pancakes? He asked, his voice cheerful and full of the kind of energy only children possess. Of course. Let us make them together. Jade replied, allowing the warmth of his enthusiasm to momentarily drive away her worries. As they cooked, flour flew around the kitchen, and laughter buoyed Jade's spirit. Seeing Max so happy was a balm for her anxiety. She reminded herself she wasn't alone, they still had each other. Over breakfast, Max's chatter filled the space, echoing with excitement about the upcoming soccer match. But soon, like a slow tide creeping in, the conversation turned once more to his father. "Are you going to tell him about my goals?" Max asked, his mouth full of pancake, eyes wide with excitement. "I will, of course," Jade said, forcing a smile. "And I'm sure he'll be very proud of you." Max nodded, a sparkle in his eyes that made her heart ache at the same time. This was about so much more than just a meeting. The weight of expectation was thick. Could Mr. Yamamoto handle the reality of being a father after so long? After breakfast, Jade turned to her phone. Day after day had passed since she had received Mr. Yamamoto's message, each moment stretching her nerves. She took a deep breath and texted him. "Are you still up for meeting Max? Just let me know when and where." Minutes felt like hours as she paced around the small apartment. Max was engrossed in his video game, completely unaware of the storm brewing within her. When her phone buzzed, she jumped. Her breath caught as she read Mr. Yamamoto's reply, "Absolutely. Can we meet tomorrow? I want to make it special." Tomorrow. That was unbearably close yet unbearably far. A mix of dread and excitement coursed through her veins. Max couldn't wait to meet him, and Jade wanted to give him that joy, but what if things took a turn? The what-ifs cascaded through her mind like a waterfall. When she called Max into the living room, she saw the anticipation on his face. "We're meeting your dad tomorrow." Max's eyes widened, a mixture of disbelief and joy. "For real? For real? I think it'll be really good for both of you," she said, though her heart raced fiercely. Still unsure, Jade watched Max dance around the room, a whirlwind of joy. But the thought of the encounter loomed over them. She had to prepare him for every possibility. "Max," she began, but the words caught in her throat. "Can I wear my jersey?" He interrupted, excitement bubbling over. "I want him to see how good I am at soccer." Of course, she smiled gently, but deep inside, she wrestled with the uncertainty. Would wearing a jersey bring joy or disappointment if things didn't go as planned? Later that evening, as they settled down for bed, Max hugged a soccer ball close to his chest, drifting off to sleep murmuring about plays he wanted to show his dad. Jade lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if it was too soon for either of them. As the night deepened, she felt a sudden resolve. She wouldn't let fear dictate their story. Tomorrow would come with its own challenges and joys. She would handle it as it came, and maybe they'd emerge stronger together. But deep inside, another question gnawed at her: what would happen if Mr. Yamamoto's return disrupted the fragile world they'd built? She closed her eyes, seeking to gather strength for the storm ahead. Would they be ready for whatever awaited them? The morning sunlight broke through the curtains, casting rays of warmth across Jade's face. She stirred, the events of the day ahead rushing back into her mind like the tide reclaiming the shore. Max was still asleep, his breathing steady and rhythmic, but Jade knew their peaceful morning wouldn't last long. With a quick glance at the clock, she leapt from bed. It was showtime, and she was nowhere near ready. The plan had been simple: meet Mr. Yamamoto in the park, perhaps a simple lunch, some conversation. Yet here she was, pacing in the kitchen, her stomach twisting in knots like a pretzel. "Mom. Are we meeting him soon?" Max's voice, sleep-laden yet buzzing with excitement, pulled Jade from her thoughts. He stood in the doorway, wearing his soccer jersey, bright, vibrant, and a bit too big, the fabric hanging loosely around his small frame. "Right after breakfast, buddy," she replied, forcing a smile. As they made another batch of pancakes, she tried to steady her racing heart. "Are we bringing the soccer ball?" Max asked, holding it tightly, his eyes shining. "Of course. Just in case you want to show him a few tricks," she said, setting a plate of pancakes down with a soft thud, both relieved and nervous. They finished breakfast, Max's laughter lightening the atmosphere, but Jade couldn't shake the feeling of pressure hovering close. The thought of Mr. Yamamoto's appearance, his expectations, made her stomach churn. The what-ifs turned into a collective of anxious scenarios battling in her mind. What if Max didn't impress him? What if he didn't want a relationship? Driving to the park felt like an eternity. Jade kept glancing at Max in the rearview mirror, finding comfort in his happiness, but even that joy felt overshadowed. The moment they arrived, she noted the families enjoying their day, the laughter of children echoing around them, yet none seemed to touch the weight upon her shoulders. "Where is he, Mom?" Max asked, bouncing slightly in his seat, oblivious to the turmoil inside her. "I am sure he is on his way," Jade said, her voice shaky. The tension in her chest tightened as she guided them to a picnic table near the playground. She took a deep breath, willing herself to stay calm and present. Minutes passed. The sun climbed higher in the sky, and shadows twisted around their little group. Just when anxiety threatened to overwhelm her, she spotted Mr. Yamamoto walking toward them. He looked just like Jade remembered, tall and dignified, a hint of nervousness in his stride. When his eyes met hers, a wave of recognition flowed between them. "Max." Mr. Yamamoto's voice rang out, warm yet slightly faltering. Jade felt her heart race as she watched Max break from her side, running into the open arms of the man he hardly knew yet desperately missed. As they embraced, Jade's breath caught. This was at the beginning of something so monumental. Watching them interact, a part of her yearned for connection, but the other half was terrified of it. "Look at you, wearing your jersey," Mr. Yamamoto exclaimed, letting go of Max only to step back and take in the sight of him fully. "I can kick, watch," Max said, excitement bubbling over as he took off toward the grassy patch nearby, soccer ball bouncing at his feet. Jade remained rooted to the spot for a moment, overwhelmed by emotions flooding through her. Could this be the bridge to what they had dreamed about? Or was it just a precarious beginning? "Jade," Mr. Yamamoto said softly, stepping closer. "Thank you for bringing him. I know it's been a long time." Her heart raced, the tension in the air thick enough to cut. "I just want what's best for Max," she replied, her voice unsteady. The words that hung unsaid between them felt more powerful than any spoken dialogue. Would he pull away again, she wondered? Would he truly step into the role of father after so many years? As Jade watched Max kicking the ball in gleeful rounds, she felt a flicker of hope ignite beneath her anxiety. Perhaps today would mark the start of something new. Maybe today was the day they could finally step into a wider world together, but just as hope began to blossom, a sickening thought hit her. What if this reunion was just another moment that would unravel their lives? Jade wrestled with the emotion buzzing in her chest. Yes, there were fears to face, but perhaps facing them was exactly what they needed. And as Max turned back to them with wild exuberance, shouting, "Did you see that?" Jade felt soon she would have to brave her own questions, not just for herself, but for Max, a little boy seeking a father's love. Where did they go from here? Jade felt a deep breath building in her lungs, ready to release whatever was weighing on her heart. Would she dare to embrace the uncertainty ahead? Jade stood there, caught in the crossfire of hope and uncertainty. Max was bouncing around like a pinball, showcasing his soccer skills with the enthusiasm of a child who had just discovered the magic of the game. "Did you see that? I'm awesome," he shouted, running back towards them. His grin was infectious, yet, as Max beamed, Jade couldn't shake the weight in her chest. Mr. Yamamoto seemed different today, somehow warmer, but could that really mean anything? Years of absence couldn't be erased by a single embrace or a few sweet words. She watched Max, his joy radiating, and it made her heart ache at the thought of it all unraveling again. "Let us play a game," Max proposed, his eyes sparkling with excitement. The park was alive with laughter and joy, the sun shining brightly above them. Mr. Yamamoto glanced at Jade, a question in his eyes. "Are you okay with that?" "Yes." "Go ahead. I'll just watch," she replied, attempting to keep her voice steady. The next few moments felt stretched like taffy. As Max began his impromptu match with Mr. Yamamoto, Jade settled on a nearby bench, her thoughts battling fiercely. She was a spectator, but also a million miles away, lost in the memories of the past, the heartache, the separation, the silent questions of why. She pulled out her phone, scanning the time. Lunch was indeed creeping up, but right now, all she wanted was to soak in this moment, the sight of Max laughing, unburdened, with a father figure who might be willing to step forward. "Hey, Jade," Mr. Yamamoto called out, breaking her reverie. "You should join us. He needs a real opponent." For a second, she hesitated. What if this was just a temporary distraction? But looking at Max, the pure joy etched into his features, the way he managed to pull out that brilliant smile with every little kick of the ball, she felt her reluctance fading. With one last deep breath, she stood and walked toward them. "All right, but I can't promise I'm not rusty," Jade said, her nervousness cloaked beneath a facade of playfulness. As they played, their laughter intermingled with that of other children in the park. Jade found herself caught in the moment, chasing after the ball, her worries momentarily forgotten. She could see Max thriving, his father's approval igniting his spirit. But just as quick as she felt that joy, doubt crept back in. Was Mr. Yamamoto really all in? After they played, they plopped down on the grass, all panting and laughing. Jade watched her son, bouncing on the edge of his seat, his face flushing with happiness. "See, Mom? I told you I could impress him," Max exclaimed, his voice a melody of triumph. The warmth in Mr. Yamamoto's eyes didn't escape her. "He really is good, Jade. You should be proud." "I am." And then it happened. The question that had been lurking behind her heart finally slipped from her lips before she could stop it. "So what does this mean for us?" Mr. Yamamoto paused. His expression shifted slightly. "Honestly, I want to know my son truly be a part of both your lives, if that's okay with you." Hope fluttered in Jade's chest, but its fragility was undeniable. "Is it too late?" she whispered, almost to herself. Was there enough time to rebuild a relationship, to start anew when the past had already set a heavy weight upon them? Max jumped up, tugging at her sleeve. "What is going on?" "Nothing, buddy," she said, forcing a smile. But the truth felt heavier than ever, the desire to move forward clashing harshly against the shadow of the past. As they settled once more, taking in the chatter of the park and the echoes of laughter, Jade wrestled with her feelings. Could she dare to trust again? Or would it only lead to another heartbreak? Little did she know, the answers that awaited her might reshape their world in ways she hadn't yet imagined. Did she have the courage to face whatever came next? The question lingered between them, and as the sun dipped slightly in the sky, the day settled into an uncertain promise. Would Jade open her heart to the possibilities ahead, or cling to the fear that had long defined their lives? Jade leaned back on the grass, her heart racing. As laughter swirled around her, she tried to focus on Max, who was still reveling in the soccer game. But she couldn't shake the tension from the conversation with Mr. Yamamoto. His sincerity and desire to be part of their lives hit her like a sledgehammer, bringing forth memories she had tried desperately to bury. "Mom?" Max's voice pulled her out of her spiral. "Can we get ice cream?" He bounced again, his excitement palpable. Jade smiled, the corners of her heart softening. "Of course, buddy. Let us grab a treat." As they walked to the ice cream stand, a million emotions danced in her mind. Could she really allow Mr. Yamamoto back in? She glanced back at him, deep in conversation with another parent. The way he interacted with Max, the gentleness in his touch, the joy radiating from him made her breath hitch. Max got his favorite, mint chocolate chip, while Jade opted for vanilla. Sitting on a picnic table, they dug in, the sweet, cold treat distracting her as the afternoon sun bathed them in warmth. Max excitedly recounted every detail from the game, his animated gestures painting a vivid picture of the fun they had shared. "Did you see how he kicked the ball, Mom? Like, whoosh." Max waved his hands dramatically, causing nearby kids at another table to giggle. "I did." Jade laughed, soaking in his joy. "You were amazing out there." Suddenly, Mr. Yamamoto approached, ice cream cone in hand. "Mind if I join you?" he asked. "Sure," Max shouted, pulling a chair closer. Jade felt her heart flutter with a mix of apprehension and hope. As they continued to eat, Mr. Yamamoto and Max discussed soccer strategy, bantering back and forth as if they had a lifetime of memories together. Jade quietly listened, absorbing the sweet moments. "Hey, Jade," Mr. Yamamoto said, turning toward her. "I'd love to talk more, just the two of us, if you're open to it." She paused, weighing her options. Her gut twisted with an instinctive fear. But seeing Max's hopeful face, she felt a shift within the urge to break centuries of silence, to bridge the gap. "Okay," she replied, brave enough to take a step forward. "Maybe tomorrow for coffee?" A look of relief washed over Mr. Yamamoto. "I'd really like that." Max slid his sticky fingers across the table for more ice cream, pulling her back to the present. "This is the best day, Mom. Can we do this again?" "Yes," she said, her heart beginning to unfurl like a flower in spring. "We definitely will." But as the afternoon turned into evening, shadows of uncertainty loomed over her. She lost track of time, staring at the setting sun. The truths waiting to be revealed felt close, yet so far away. Would a new beginning really mean that old wounds could finally heal? As they made their way back home, Max chattered away, his energy electric. But the lingering question nagged at Jade: could they really leap into this new chapter without falling into the cracks of their past? Just as they reached the car, Max's eyes sparkled. "Mom, can I ask Dad a question tomorrow?" Her breath caught in her throat. "Of course. You can ask him anything." But immediately, the burdens of the past closed in again. What if the question had the power to unravel everything they had just begun to rebuild? As Max climbed inside the car, Jade took a moment, staring into the fading light. This new journey was fraught with peril, yet filled with potential. Would she be ready for whatever was about to unfold? The only certainty was the unpredictable future waiting for them, and the hope that was chasing after it. Would Jade have the courage to face the truth, no matter how hard it might be? The next morning dawned bright and clear, the sunlight pouring through the curtains like a warm welcome. Jade stirred awake, her heart still heavy with anticipation and anxiety. Today was the day she would meet Mr. Yamamoto over coffee. Max bounded into her room, his wide grin infectious. "Mom, can I wear my soccer jersey today? For good luck?" "Sure, buddy," she said, forcing a smile as she threw the covers off. As she watched him rush off, she felt a soft flicker of hope. Maybe today would bring clarity, a sign that things could change for the better. After a quick breakfast, they both got ready, the air buzzing with energy. Jade spoke lightly, but inside, the storm brewed, questions swirling like leaves caught in a whirlwind. Who was she to let Mr. Yamamoto back into their lives? Would they encounter a world of pain, or was this the bridge to healing? When the time came, Jade found herself in a cozy cafe filled with the aroma of fresh coffee and baked goods. She settled at a small table by the window, stirring her cup slowly while scanning the door. She was nervous, glancing at her watch every few moments. Then, just as she felt her heartbeat thunder in her ears, he walked in. Yamamoto seemed different in the daylight, the soft glow highlighting the traces of worry etched on his face. He spotted her and offered a tentative smile as he approached. "Jade," he said, taking a seat across from her. "Thank you for meeting me." "It's really nice to see you," she replied, the words feeling heavy. She took a deep breath. "I wanted to talk. About everything." "Of course," he said, leaning in slightly, the sincerity pouring from his gaze. "I didn't intend to stir up any confusion. I just wanted to be part of Max's life." Her heart ached at his mention of Max. "It's not just about him, though," she said, her voice trembling. "I need to know what you've been doing all these years." "Why now?" His eyes clouded with emotion as he leaned back, the weight of the past hanging between them like an unspooled thread. "I never intended to stay away. Life happened. Regrets piled on. I never stopped thinking about you both. Jade felt an avalanche of emotions crashing over her. Regret? You went years without showing up. How am I supposed to just forget that? I know, he whispered, his voice raw. But I'm here now, and I want to make amends. I want to be a father to Max, to be part of your lives if you'll let me. So, you just expect me to welcome you with open arms? Her defenses rose like a barrier, yet there was something in the way he looked at her, an aching honesty that made her hesitate. That he nodded, his expression earnest. I understand that you're angry. You have every right to be. But I want to make things right. I've thought about how to reach out for years, prepared to face whatever consequences come. Her emotions were a whirlwind, battling between caution and the flicker of hope. Before she could process her thoughts, a memory crashed into her head, her own thoughts as a child, imagining what life could have been like if he had stayed. I need time, she said finally, the words tasting bittersweet. Time to figure out what that means. Mr. Yamamoto nodded, relief evident in his gaze. I understand. Just know that I'm willing to be here whenever you're ready. As they finished their coffee, the weight of unspoken words hung in the air. Jade felt the first threads of a new possibility weaving in her heart, but the road ahead remained uncertain. Would this spark a lasting change, or would it unravel everything she had built since he was gone? As she stepped out of the cafe, sunlight greeted her like a warm hug, but doubts clung tightly to her. And then, out of nowhere, Max appeared, running toward her with wide eyes. Mom. I just texted Dad. Jade's smile froze. What did you say? I told him I wanted to see him today. Her stomach sank, the words ricocheting in her mind. This was the moment she hadn't prepared for. Would the truth now crash over her, reshaping what she had begun to build? Jade took a step backward, fear flooding her veins. How would she navigate the chaos of the past meeting the future? Where would this twist lead them now? Jade's heart raced, a storm of emotions surging within her. She felt the world around her dim, the busy streets of the city fading into the background noise. Max's innocent excitement contrasted sharply with her own confusion and dread. Mom? Max's youthful voice pulled her back, the eagerness in his expression sharp against her backdrop of uncertainty. It'll be amazing. I know it. Max, this is complicated. Her words felt like stones in her mouth, heavy and difficult to manage. It's not just about wanting to see him. But I want to know him. Max insisted, his enthusiasm unwavering. His little face, filled with hope, made her heart ache. She wanted nothing more than to grant him that wish, yet she feared what it might mean for both of them. Sweetheart, let us talk about this. I need to sort some things out first. Max's face fell, disappointment flooding his features. But he's my dad. You always said he could be part of our lives again. Rushing thoughts clouded Jade's mind. Yes, she had spoken those words, but could she truly open that door wide enough for both of them? Could the man who had vanished years ago truly step back into their lives, be the father Max deserved? Facing her son, she knelt down and took his hands, squeezing them gently. I know you're excited. And I want you to have a relationship with him if it's the right choice. Then why can't we see him today? Max pressed, his blue eyes searching hers for reassurance. What are you afraid of? It was a question that pierced through the confusion, forcing her to confront the truth. She was afraid of getting hurt again. She was terrified of the chaos that would ensue from old wounds reopening to potential heartbreak. Still, she couldn't deny the glimmer of hope that had sparked during their coffee conversation with Mr. Yamamoto. Mom, please. Max's voice dropped, urgency creeping in. I just want to meet him. I want to know him. Jade stood up, uncertainty gnawing at her. The sun cast an inviting glow, but all she could think about was the weight of what hung in the balance. Okay, she sighed, surrendering to the tide turning within her. Let us go. The two made their way through the city, navigating through the throngs of bustling people. Jade's stomach churned with each step. What would she even say? How would she even approach this reunion? The closer they got, the more she realized this wasn't only about Max, this was about her too. When they arrived at the small park where they'd agreed to meet, Jade felt an overwhelming sense of nostalgia washing over her. It was the same park where they'd played when times were simpler. She caught Max's wide-eyed enthusiasm. He was bouncing on his feet, clearly in his element. "Mom, I see him!" he shouted suddenly, his voice a mixture of glee and disbelief. Jade turned and there he was, Mr. Yamamoto, standing awkwardly at the edge of the playground, scanning the area until his eyes landed on them. For a moment, everything felt surreal. This was the man who was meant to be a father, the man she fought so hard to keep at bay. As he approached with cautious steps, a knot tightened in Jade's chest. She wasn't sure if she was ready for this moment. "Hi, Max," Mr. Yamamoto said softly, kneeling to meet her son's gaze. But his eyes flickered to Jade, and in that brief glance, she could see a mixture of hope, fear, and an apology all rolled into one. "We need to talk." Jade's voice broke the silence, a tremor threading through her words. She could feel the significance of this moment, challenging her to confront everything she had bottled up for so long. "Of course," he replied, nodding, aware that this was the pivotal moment. Would this meeting bring the healing she dared to hope for? Or was it the start of a new set of complications that would unravel everything they had just begun to stitch back together? As she opened her mouth to say more, the words stuck in her throat. What if she was making the biggest mistake of her life? The sun continued to shine, and yet shades of uncertainty hovered around them. The path ahead felt terrifyingly unclear, wrapping around them with an urge to unveil what was yet to come. Max tugged at her sleeve, and her heart clenched tightly. Could she do this? Could she take the next step into unknown territory? The air was thick with anticipation, and before she could gather her thoughts, Mr. Yamamoto looked at her earnestly. "Please, just give me a chance," and as those words hung in the air, Jade knew there would be no turning back. The sun hung low in the sky, casting warm rays over the park where hopes and fears swirled together like leaves in the wind. As Jade's heart raced, she realized it was now or never. Today was the day. They would confront their past and step into the uncertain future together. Max's enthusiasm was infectious. "Dad, watch this." He ran toward the grassy patch, kicking the soccer ball with delight. A small moment, but the joy on Max's face lit up the world around them. It was a reminder of everything he had been missing, everything they had been missing. "Jade," Mr. Yamamoto's voice pulled her back to reality. "Can we talk? Just the two of us?" She hesitated, feeling the weight of the decision. A leap of faith loomed ahead. Taking a deep breath, she nodded, acknowledging that this wasn't just about Max. It was also about her heart, the one he had touched only to leave it behind. As they walked a little way off, away from Max's laughter, she could feel the tension in the air wrapping around them, thick and palpable. "I've thought a lot about this," he began, turning to face her. "I know I can't wipe away what happened in the past, but I want to come back and be the father Max deserves. Do you even understand what it means to be a father after all these years?" Jade's words tumbled out, a mix of anger and pain. "You left us without a word. Those years weren't just blank spaces for us, they were filled with confusion and sorrow." His eyes softened. "I know I failed you both, and I carry that guilt with me every day. But I've changed. I want to show you that I can be better." The vulnerability in his voice tugged at her heart. It was the same longing she felt within herself, a desire for connection, for closure, and maybe even for healing. But could she really trust him again? "I don't want Max to be hurt. I'm terrified of letting him near you, only to have you disappear again." The tremor in her voice betrayed her. "Jade, I can't promise perfection. I can't promise that I'll be the father I should have been from the start," he said, his sincerity washing over her like a river. "But I can promise you that I want to try. I want to earn your trust. I want to be in Max's life. I can't go back and change the past, but I want to walk into the future with both of you." Jade's heart pounded as she weighed his words. Finally, a moment of clarity washed over her. "The past is a part of us, Mr. Yamamoto. It shaped the lessons I learned as a child. But I know I have to give this a chance for Max. A flicker of hope ignited in his eyes. Thank you. That's all I am asking, for a chance. Turning back to where Max was trying out new soccer tricks, Jade's heart swelled with newfound determination. This wasn't just about her anymore. It was about building a future for her son, one that was filled with possibility and love. They walked back together, and as Jade approached Max, a weight lifted from her shoulders. She knelt beside her son and ruffled his hair. Hey, want to show Dad how good you are? A smile broke across Max's face, the excitement spilling back into their lives. Yeah. Come watch. He exclaimed, taking Mr. Yamamoto's hand, dragging him toward the field. Jade watched their dynamic unfold, a slow, cautious warmth unfurling in her heart. Maybe this was a new beginning, one paved with uncertainty but also with hope. The hours passed, filled with laughter, shared stories, and the joy of rediscovery. Jade and Mr. Yamamoto found themselves stealing glances at one another, a mutual understanding simmering beneath the surface. Every soccer goal Max scored became a monument of their fragile new bond, a bridge to the future they all craved. At last, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with splendid hues, Mr. Yamamoto turned to Jade. I want to be present in Max's life, for every game, every moment. No more running away. Jade smiled, feeling the threads of hope weaving their way back into her heart. We'll take it one step at a time. As they walked home together, her heart was lighter. The journey ahead was uncertain, but it was wrapped in the possibility of love and healing, a fresh start built on a potent foundation of truth. They could create a new narrative, one where scars from the past slowly turned to stories of triumph. In that moment, she felt ready. Ready to embrace the unknown, to cherish each connection, and to finally become whole again. The transformation had begun, and as they stepped forward into the embrace of the evening light, hopes of a beautiful future surrounded them like a warm hug. And now, dear friends, it's your turn to step into a journey of your own. You need to subscribe now to ensure you don't miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire your heart. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and spread this beautiful transformation. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this ending, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this inspiring transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Together, let us continue this journey.